All right, this is going to be a brief introduction for how we graph. So if you are given your equation, the first thing you need to do is what we have been doing in class, the amplitude, period, phase shift, and vertical shift. And then in this video, I will show you how we use those to graph. So for this particular equation, the amplitude is 3. The period, based on 2 pi, so you do 2 pi divided by what's in front of x, gives me a period of pi. For the phase shift, I change the sign, and I take this term here, pi, and I divide it by what's in front of x. So the phase shift is pi over 2. Vertical shift, no number after the parentheses, so it's 0. All right, now, the way that we use that information to graph is the phase shift is the starting point of our graph. So the phase shift is pi over 2. So I'm just going to make a line here. That's pi over 2. The amplitude is 3. So this graph is going to go up 3 units, and it's going to go down 3 units. So we are going to start at the phase shift. We are going to go up 3, and then we are going to come down 3. And the ending point is the phase shift plus the period. All right, so that's 2 over 2 here. Put that together. That's going to be 3 over 2. So I just mark 3 pi over 2. And that's how we graph. So if we're going to graph this one, you're going to find all this information first. Amplitude, number in front is 2. Period, 2 pi divided by an understood 1 here, so the period's 2 pi. Phase shift, change the sign, and it is this term divided by this term, so it's going to be negative pi over 2. Vertical shift, nothing after the parentheses, so it's 0. Phase shift is where we start, and it's negative. So I'm going to go over here into negative territory. Write what that is. And I'm going to go up 2 for this graph. That means I'm going to go down 2. So I'm going to start here at the phase shift. I am going to go up 2 and down 2. And where I end is the phase shift plus the period. So that is going to give me, if I change this over 2, it's 4 pi over 2, negative 1, so that's going to be 3 pi over 2 where I end. So you just mark where you started, where you ended, how high up, how high low, and there's your graph. One more. All right, amplitude, period, phase shift, all that information first. So understood 1 in front of sign. Period, 2 pi divided by 2. Phase shift is going to be negative pi over 2 divided by what's in front of x. So that's negative pi over 2 times 1/2, because we flipped this. So the phase shift is negative pi over 4. Vertical shift at the end, negative 2. All right, we're going to ignore the vertical shift for right now. We're going to mark off the phase shift where we start, negative pi over 4. And we normally say we go up 1 and we go down 1 because of the amplitude. And the period is pi, so phase shift plus the period is where the graph is going to end. So it's going to end at 3 pi over 4. So I'll just make a mark here. Now, before I draw the sine wave, I've got to pay attention to this vertical shift. Vertical shift says we're going down to negative 2. So I am going to go to negative 2, and I'm going to do a dotted line. All right, this is at -2. So what that means is instead of drawing the graph like we would up here, I'm going to work on this new line that I just made. And I'm going to draw the graph, because basically what you're saying is if the graph was up here, normally we would do this, this. But because there's a vertical shift, it means this graph works down here. So when you draw the graph, you don't have the magic on your paper to just take the line and bring it down like I just did. When you graph it, you draw the dotted line and then you work off the dotted line instead of working off the x-axis. All right, we will be doing a lot more of these for practice in class. This was just an introduction for you.